Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm chatting with J.S. David from NioBay Metals. Guys, I find NioBay Metals really fascinating because they trade at a market cap of under $5 million with over $1 billion of net present value on their balance sheet. Now, what they're after is niobium, which a lot of people don't really know anything about, and we get into in this interview. Now, you're probably hearing what I just said and saying, okay, well, why is it so cheap? Well, they have had some issues with their property, which I like that JS actually gets into in this interview. So if you have considered investing in NioBay Metals, or you are a shareholder or you're a past shareholder and you're looking for some context or color, this is an interview that you're really going to want to watch. Now, JS isn't exactly the most promotional CEO I've ever talked to, but he's got a storied history in the Canadian junior markets, and he has built up what I consider to be a really interesting portfolio in NioBay Metals, which, if you are looking for companies that have hit rock bottom and have tremendous upside, this could be a story that you find really interesting. All right, everybody, enjoy the interview. JS, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hi, Steve. Thank you for having me today.
So there's a lot to talk about. You guys are primarily focused on niobium, and I understand you have a project involving titanium and phosphate. Let's start off with niobium, which I happen to find very interesting because, for one thing, there's not many companies out there that are focused on niobium, which makes it very interesting from an investor standpoint. You know that the company doesn't have to go out there and throw a bunch of elbows and make a bunch of noise in order to get noticed. Maybe we could start off by talking about niobium. What are the emerging technologies it could be used in, and what makes niobium special?
Well, first of all, it's pretty rare to find a niobium deposit. That's maybe why there's only 3 niobium mines in the world. We'll say there's 2 in Brazil and 1 in Canada. So why niobium, and why we have decided to push our niobium project? It's because of the need to improve the steel. So that makes the steel lighter and stronger. So that way you can reduce the amount of steel when you're building a bridge, when you're building, infrastructures. And also the new, let's say the new stuff. I will say since just before the pandemic, the Toshiba put on the market niobium battery. So at the time, and I'm talking about 5 years ago, the niobium were used on the anode side, just to build the anode. And now, for the last 2 years, we can see some groups using also niobium, or a blend of material with niobium in it for the cathode side. So now we can talk about a battery that can have niobium on the anode side and also on the cathode side. So this is a brand new market for niobium. For that, you need a niobium oxide at a high purity. So we're not talking about ferroniobium, because you have 2 different markets. You have the ferroniobium, so the main market for that, and the ferroniobium has been used, and we use it for the steel industry, and the niobium oxide for the let's say the battery industry, but also to make some alloy. So
I find it fascinating because just looking this up here, when we talk about what the niobium based anodes look like, you're getting faster charging rates and longer life cycles out of the anodes that are using, and I suppose the niobium batteries that are using this technology. But as you mentioned, there's 2 niobium mines in Brazil. There's 1 in Quebec. Is there enough niobium in the world for it to ever be produced at scale for batteries?
The thing is, CBMM can supply. If you look back 50 years ago, the reason why NioBay was put in place because there was no market for NioBay. CBMM can supply the market, but the consumer, they don't want a monopoly. They want to have choices. So that's why this mine is still alive after almost 50 years of production. But that's another reason why we want to be the fourth producer. It's because the latest mine was built, 50 years ago. So I think there's a place for a new mine, and as you mentioned, Steve, the the battery sector, it's with all this advantage with the cycle that you could put on a battery and a lot safer than the standard battery. You have only one producer for that material, which is CBMM. So today there's one supplier, and it's CBMM for the niobium oxide battery quality. NioBay, they're doing ferroniobium. They're supplying the steel industry, and so we do have two niobium projects. So one in James Bay, in Ontario, and one in Quebec. We call it Crevier. And the Crevier one, what we want to do with Crevier is to put Crevier just for the battery market. So a small operation, and we have also tantalum in it. So the tantalum is pretty easy to get rid of. Germany, South Korea, they're looking for tantalum oxide. So that's going to be easy to sell. But for the niobium, what we're looking for, it's the battery sector. Just want to mention that we own 73% of Crevier, and the rest is owned by Magris, who owns NioBay. And let's say that project, this project, the Crevier project, was discovered almost at the same time than the NioBay project. Let's say end of 1970s, 78, 79.
When it comes to niobium, I assume then that there's obviously no spot market. It's just you're basically signing contracts if you are, say, a weapons manufacturer and you want to use niobium. And it's also a fascinating market too when you think about it from the perspective of CBMM is the largest producer of niobium in the world, but they're also the ones that are kind of spearheading the actual technological development of niobium. Like I can't really think of any metal in the world that is like this.
That's true. That's true, and I'm not going to throw stone to them. I think they're doing a fantastic job. When I attend their conference last year, they were saying that they spend I think they said $50 million per year in R&D, so which is huge. So that's why they pretty well advanced, and they made partnership with Volkswagen and Toshiba. But you know what? We're small, but we're doing also our R&D stuff. Actually, we have signed, and we've been for the last 2 years in contract with 3 Canadian universities. So Actually, in Waterloo, they're doing some work in Trois-Rivières, near between Quebec City and Montreal. They also doing stuff, and another one in Montreal. But the way and what we're looking at, it's to replace the palladium and to when you're doing the hydrogen. So what we're trying to prove, it's going to be a lot very efficient and a lot cheaper to use niobium instead of the platinum group to produce the hydrogen. So we've been working on that for the last 2 years, and so we didn't want to play in the, let's say, in the battery garden where CBMM is, and we decided to look after something else. So that can be also seen as a pretty positive for our company. So it's maybe little. It might looks little money compared to what the CBMM is doing right now, but it's good money, and those universities, they were pretty happy to see us, and they were using us as a leverage to get funds from the federal and the provincial government for their research.
Who are the big investors in the niobium space? Like are there any special situation hedge funds, or who like I imagine you guys must get some interesting calls from various types of portfolio managers or high net worth individuals that are looking to invest. What's the kind of investment arena like for niobium?
Yeah, there's few let's say portfolio money management. Uh, so, but to be frank, I'm looking to get some also end user. So I'm working on that. I know that people, they are looking, and because I'm getting phone calls and asking me when you're going to produce, when you're going to put some product on the market. So I'm looking also for those guys. But that for sure, there's room for improvement. We need to bring some more new people because I think we have pretty old shareholders. They've been with us for many years, and we that was a bumpy ride. I can understand that. I'm a shareholders from since I will say 2012, 2014. Um, and that's why now I'm doing more marketing. I think we have a good story. Uh, there's not much people who knows us, so that's why I need to be less technical because I'm a technical guy. By the way, I was not born to be a CEO, so I'm on the learning curve on that, and but I think I'm not a bad technical guy, but I need to be a better seller, and that's why we're doing road shows. In May, we're gonna be out for road shows. There's 3 aligned, and hopefully we're gonna be able to interest some more people to our story and to this great product. So again, I told you that at PDAC, people were we I got a lot of people in the booth because there was not much niobium plays in the floor, and and I and I really think that we have two great assets in two great niobium assets, and and that's why I think our old shareholders, they're staying with us, but we need to attract some more people. That's for sure.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the projects you guys have. So you guys have the the James Bay project, which was the focal point of the company for the last couple of years, it's got a massive net present value of over $1 billion as of the last PA, which was completed in 2020. It seems like that's not the focus of the company anymore. Can you speak to what happened with the James Bay project?
So now there's a new chief. So we think it's a long process, I will say. This is that was our flagship, and it's still our main asset. If you look at those numbers, it's just a great project. To me, it's NioBay number 2. It looks like it. The geology, it's a pure carbonatite. The grade is there's a good grade. So we have almost 30 million ton at 0.53% niobium. So which is a good project. We still have lots of drilling to do because we do have an inferred resource. I think it's 32 million ton, 33 million ton, rating at 0.52% NB205. So a great project, but it will take time since it's on the Moose Cree First Nation land. We signed 2 protection agreements with them. So, but there was a change of chief, and the chiefs decided to let's say reduce the speed of that project. Now there's a new chief. Half of the council is new. So we met Moose Cree First Nation group of company a few times, and we're looking forward to go back there to finish our let's say second drilling program, and I will also do some geotechnique drilling for a feasibility study. So that's the reason why our price went down. It's because of, let's say, the situation with Moose Cree, but it's not dead, not at all. We've been in contact monthly with the Ontario government. Ontario wants to see that project happen because I think their geologists from MNR, they know that this is the 4th niobium mine in the world. So they feel desperate a little bit to see the situation. But I think in those kind of situation, and I've been in those kind of situation. My background is I'm a GO, but I was a sustainable development vice president, and I was director of environment, and so it takes time. The deposit, it's ours. We have a mining lease on it, so there's not only claims. So we have a mining lease good for until 2028, and we can expand that mining lease for sure. But no, we're looking to go back. Sooner will be better. And this project is more for the ferroniobium, so it's for the steel industry. But we can convert that ferro to niobium for the battery sector. We did all the metallurgical test work for that, and we released news about it. So recovery of this project is just fantastic. So you're talking about the net smelter return of $184 per ton US money. So no, again, it's a great project, and one of the reasons why Osisco Gold Royalty, they took a 2% royalty on it, and also a reason why Osisco Development decided to invest in to take 30% of our shares.
So you guys also recently acquired a titanium and phosphate project in Quebec.
Yeah.
What is it that excites you about titanium
Why?
and phosphate?
So I know that rock a lot. You know, this kind of geological situation there, because it's an intrusion, an unauthorized intrusion, and I've been working with an intrusion, unauthorized intrusion for 9 years, so I know pretty well that sector. So I was looking to rebalance the company. So NioBay was solely focused on James Bay. So we saw that when there's a bumpy road, so we took a direct hit when we stopped drilling up there. So I decided to put some more time on the Crevier project, and we discovered and we improved Crevier by a lot. And also I said, okay, let's, and I was looking for another project, and that was one of my, at the last AGM, I told the shareholders, I said, guys, I will buy another project to rebalance, but it might take time because I want the right one. I want and it's going to be in the critical mineral field. So I was put in contact with VR, and then I fell in love with this project, with this geology, and all the blue sky of the phosphate can maybe give to that project. You need to understand that where this project is located, it has a very, very, very long history in titanium. So that it started with the King of France. So, so that's a pretty old story. So if you look at our website, we put a specific slide about the history of that area. They had furnace to treat the titanium, and we're calling, and that was in 1870 something. So very long time ago. So it has a long history of titanium, but been shot in, I will say, 1956, I think. So we're back in this area, and we're looking for ilmenite and rutile, because there's rutile. And so when you say rutile, that means it's high grade titanium and less iron. So that's why I'm very excited, because when I was reading the old report, I said, wow, so there's a possibility to get some rutile. So my crew starting in May, and we're spending, I would say, most of the summer on Foothill, and expecting to start the drilling, I will say August, September, around those days. And you should see, we will release pretty soon. I will say probably beginning of May. I decided to resample some old core, and also those guys at the time, they didn't sample some lithology. So like Nelsonite, the Nelsonite, this is usually where you find high grade phosphate, and so they didn't sample it. So I'm pretty excited to see the result of those samples, and I should release it, I will say, a few weeks from now.
What does the remainder of 2024 look like then? Are you guys going to have drills in the ground?
Yeah, we're going to have drills on the ground on foothills. And we're expecting to get a 3-year permit to continue the project in James Bay. So that's going to be a huge news. But according to the government of Ontario, so we're just waiting for their okay, but we should get an extension of the actual permit. So and we will add 3 years on James Bay for the exploration. So that will probably also be a game changer in the community, in most Cree First Nation community. So if this happen, we will go back on James Bay as well. But for James Bay, it's more on when the ground is frozen. So we'll say maybe we can start putting let's say the camp and the material in December, and I'm looking to have let's say a 4 month drill program. So 2024 for NioBay, it's gonna be very busy. We'll say we had busy time to prepare everything. Again, my crew is ready. We met all the stakeholders near Foothill. No, I'm very excited. It's a kind of I think NioBay it's a reborn NioBay that you will be able to see for 2024.
Well, JS, thanks so much for joining us. I think that you've got a very unique and interesting opportunity in front of you. And I look forward to continuing to watch the results. And hopefully you guys have some pretty big, exciting drill intersections to announce later in the year.
Yeah. Looking forward to that too.
Thanks so much, Chas.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this interview, please smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Also, let me know what you think in the comment section. Thanks, everyone.